Some ideas are so bad only academics, socialists, progressives, Democrats, and so-called Republicans believe them. The latest bizarre and bad idea is the UBI, or the Universal Basic Income. Let me explain. According to BN, or the Basic Income Earth Network, a basic income is a periodic cash payment unconditionally delivered to all on an individual basis, get this, without means test or work requirement. While the universal basic income idea is a relatively new one on the political front, it has its origins in antiquity. From Sir Thomas More to Thomas Paine, there have been a number of advocates throughout history of a minimum income guaranteed by the government. I believe the famous atheist philosopher, author of Why I Am Not a Christian, Bertrand Russell, sums up the underlying idea of the UBI perfectly when he writes, "A certain small income, sufficient for necessaries, should be secured to all, whether they work or not. No one should be compelled to work, and those who choose not to work should receive a bare livelihood and be left completely free." Isn't that wonderful? Whether we work or not, you and I will be given a basic income, and we will be free to do whatever we want. How lovely. This universal basic income idea is becoming so popular that a number of Democrat and socialist politicians are including it into their speeches, political platforms, and even beginning to implement it into city legislation. Just last month, Barack Obama touted it in his South Africa speech. The founder of Venture for America, Andrew Yang, a 2020 Democratic presidential candidate, has declared it will be one of his main campaign goals where all American citizens between the ages of 18 and 64 will be given $1,000 a month called a freedom dividend. In America's third largest city, Chicago, Democrat Alderman Amaya Pawar is trying to convince Democrat Mayor Chicago Rahm Emanuel that they should begin the UBI as soon as possible. Soon, the Democrat-controlled bankrupt city of Stockton, California, will become the first in the country to participate in a test of the universal basic income. Stockton will give 100 residents $500 a month for 18 months, no strings attached. Chicago and Stockton should take advice from the good intentions of the socialist government of Finland, which just recently ended its experiment with UBI. As the New York Times writes in its article, Finland has second thoughts giving free money to jobless people. Quote, "Many people in Finland and in other lands chafe at the idea of handing out cash without requiring that people work," end quote. My grandmother used to say, "Beware of good intentions. They may be a road to bad places." Just like Karl Marx's dismal understanding of economics and how human beings really work, UBI socialists and progressive social engineers, they fail to understand human nature and the negative effects so-called free money will have on self-respect and the incentive to improve oneself. Just like communism and socialism, the universal basic income does not empower the poor, it turns them into wards and slaves of the state. As with other socialistic pie-in-the-sky ideas, it carries and perpetuates widespread sloth. It increases crime and drug use and a lifetime of dependency that's always looking for someone else's money in the mail. It doesn't take a PhD in economics to understand that if you pay people to do nothing, that's just what they'll do. Nothing. It's hard to imagine a more anti-freedom, anti-work, sophomoric, dystopic, and just plain stupid idea. I'm Dr. Jake Jacobs, and we'll see you next time on One Nation.